welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Monika, and this is episode 32. There were no regular podcast episodes last week, but there were my June stash down, so I do hope you enjoyed that video. Yes. Today I'm actually wearing a finished object. I did show it last time, about 2 weeks ago, but it hadn't been blocked yet. Now it's been blocked and used quite a lot. So yeah, it's knit out of Untold cotton merino in the colorway Poolside blue. It is a design I've made myself, though it's not released yet. None of my, well actually, I have 2 patterns available if anyone's interested. The links are in the description and you can also find them on my Ravelry page. I've not been very good at updating my Ravelry, but my patterns are available there. So yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna start with, so we can get started with my whips. I don't have any new finished objects, but I have had quite a lot of progress on most of my whips. There are 2 projects I haven't touched, and well, you can guess right now which 2 those are. You'll probably know. Yeah. Anyway, I'll start with the project here at the top. I don't have any new cast-ons either, so these are all projects you have seen before. I just have to figure out how to show this without stabbing myself with needles. Or losing all my yarn. Yeah, this is a project I'm planning on using at work. Our office is quite cold, so I needed a cardigan. And this is my champagne cardigan. It's a pattern by Petiteknit. And the yarn I'm using is some acrylic yarn I bought 3 or 4 years ago, which I have been struggling to use up because I don't necessarily like the feel of the yarn anymore. Preferences change, and sadly for me that means that I no longer like acrylic yarn the same, or perhaps specifically this acrylic yarn, because I do like the red heart super saver that's over here, but yeah. Anyway, try to show it properly. It is more than long enough to start ribbing according to the pattern, but I wanted it to be quite a bit longer. So my plan is, I do have some leftover yarn. This is the ball I have left, or the rest of the ball I'm working on right now, and I have 3 more skein or caked up skeins that I had used for something else, and I also have 2 unused skeins, I guess. Yeah, so I have approximately 400 to 500 more grams of this yarn. I am going to save the 2 unused skeins for the button band, and I've been hem-hawing on whether or not I'm going to make buttons on the button band, because I don't think I'm gonna close it. The cardigan, I mean. So yeah, I'm a bit on the fence on how I'm gonna do it. It would make the project a lot easier if I didn't add buttons to the button band. But I still want the button band because it looks very unfinished without it. I haven't woven in all the ends. I have woven in some of them, but most of them are just hanging out here, as you might be able to see, because this was yarn that I had used for other projects and then ripped out. I had a lot of small skeins for it, called small quantities. Yeah, the yarn is Lille yarn from Rusta. I don't think they sell it anymore because I've been trying to look online, and yeah, I don't think it's available anymore. It probably wasn't very popular I liked the yarn when I first bought it because I was a very poor student or whatever. It was right before I got my first job, I think. So I didn't have a lot of income, and this yarn was extremely cheap. So I bought a lot. Problem is now I have a lot, which I just hadn't figured out how to use up. So I think when I'm done with this cardigan, because I'm then probably done with most of this color, I also have more of a grey color and a red color. I think I'm just gonna make kind of like blankets we can have on the patio during cold evenings, and then just try and get rid of as much as possible of that yarn. I really do want it out of my stash, since it's just been hanging around for at least 3 years. So yeah, I'm very happy with this project. I have realized that if I have very dry skin, I don't like the feel of this, and I think that's why I haven't been enjoying knitting on it. But I think with a long sleeve t-shirt or something, at least a t-shirt underneath, I don't think this is going to be a problem at the office. If I'm cold, it's probably going to be quite fine. And since it's a cardigan, I can just take it off when I'm not in the need of it. Don't have to like pull it over my head. Yeah. I'm sorry if my voice is a bit weird. I think I'm getting a cold, which sadly often happens at the first day of the vacation for me. It's when the body suddenly realizes you're no longer stressed, so it just lets you be sick for a while. Happens every year. Happens every holiday, so. Yeah, I don't think I have a lot more to say about this project. I mean, we all know Petiteknit. She writes fantastic patterns. They're super easy to follow. There was absolutely nothing with this pattern that made me wonder what she was thinking or anything. It was just straightforward, just following it all. Yeah, nothing to comment about it. So yeah, I'm gonna put this over here. It's actually the first time I'm following a Petiteknit pattern, and I'm very pleased. So yeah. I think the second project I'm gonna show is also one that follows a pattern. Most of my projects don't follow a pattern, or they follow my patterns. So yeah, I find it quite funny to sometimes have projects that follow patterns, mostly because it means that I don't have to think. When I design my own patterns, there's a lot of thought behind how I want the design to look, and a lot of trial and error. But when I just want to enjoy the knitting process and not think, that's when I pull out some patterns. Now, this is my second and only other project that I follow a pattern for. I did stop in the middle of the road, that was silly. So this is a bit difficult to show. But this is a shawl. I think if I put it this way, it's probably easier to see. It's going to be a rectangle, but since I stopped in the middle of the row, it is very difficult to show. But yeah, I must say I really do like this pattern. It is a lace pattern. I don't know how easy it is to see. I think this is gonna look fantastic once it's been blocked. Right now it is a bit wavy, I think, probably the best way to describe it, the way lace usually is when it's not been blocked. Last time I showed you this, I had only done the very bottom here. In the pattern you're supposed to do this 32 rows or something, but I think I stopped after only 8 or 10. Mostly because I thought it kind of broke up the pattern too much to have that much ribbing. I just wanted a slight beginning before I dove into the rest of the pattern. I did weigh the amount of yarn I had, or have, and how much this project weighs now and how long it's gonna be, and realized that I'm gonna have to use up absolutely every bit of this yarn to make this work, which means it's gonna be too colored. Sorry, I don't mean to sniffle on camera, I'm just not. Yeah. My health is not the best. Those of you that have followed me for a while know that. But yeah, I have this yarn in 2 different colors. Actually, let me just tell you. This is the Seascape stole? No. Seaside stole? I don't remember. The information will be in the description and also in this corner. And the yarn is Hanna by Permin, which is kind of like a fake mohair, but in my eyes a lot better because it's got some cashmere, some merino, maybe some silk, I don't remember. Didn't I have the band here somewhere? Oh no, it's in the living room. Anyway, it's this yarn. It is merino, silk and cashmere, yeah. So it doesn't have a lot of cashmere, but you can really feel how soft it is. And I don't think merino is nearly as soft. So yeah. This project is one that I started in the beginning of June because I was in a wedding in May and I realized that the only shawl I have clashes with most of my wardrobe. So yeah, I decided it was best to knit up something that I can wear more regularly, I guess. Yeah, something that's more weather appropriate and also doesn't clash as much. And even though this is a very, very delicate fabric, it looks very pretty, it is extremely warm. So I don't think it's going to be a big issue to use it as a cover for weddings or other events where you have to like cover up a tiny bit. So yeah, the colors might clash a little bit. At the moment I can't remember where I put the other color of this yarn. I know it's in here somewhere, I just don't remember exactly where, so when I reorganize this shelf, which I'm planning on doing next week, I probably gonna find it and then I can put things back in order, because at the moment it is a bit chaotic. Yeah. Is there anything more to say? I really do like how this pattern is written. There's 2 versions of it. One is a simplified version and one is the not as simplified. And the one that's not as simplified doesn't have a chart. That's the one I'm following at the moment because I liked the border of that one better. I don't mind not having a chart to follow. To be honest, it's been quite relaxing to just go line by line. And yeah, it's a free pattern. I don't think I'm linking it directly in my description or in Ravelry, but the name will be in the description, so it's very easy to find. Yes. I think that's all I have to say about that project. So, then I can talk about this project. This is a sock project. It's my own design. This is the Under the Oak socks, and I must say I really love these 2 colors. They are so pretty. It's made out of Dale Alpakka Forte in the colorway Purpur and Petrol Melert, I think, or Melert Petrol. I think it's the color first and then Melert. So Petrol, Melert, I think. This is a sock that I made for myself. It's in my size, so it's the smallest size. And this is my design. Under the Yoke Socks is one of the designs that I have released. And yeah, since the last time I have knit almost all of the foot. I am at the toe now, so I only have one color left. That's why I cut off the rest of the purple of yarn. Yeah. Because I don't need it anymore. I am actually planning on just quickly finishing this sock and then putting this pair to the side while I knitted a different pair. Just hopefully quite quickly. Yeah. That's a different thing though. I do want to get this sock finished before I start the new pair, just because if not I'm gonna have to put it on waste yarn, and that just doesn't seem quite right when I'm almost done with it. And actually this has just been on the bus knitting, so this has been quite lovely. So yeah, my other sock project that I haven't touched at all, actually there's 3 projects I haven't touched at all, but okay. I have one finished vanilla sock and one that I'm in the heel flap for. I haven't been motivated, not since I realized I don't like vanilla socks. Yeah, I don't like how they feel on my feet. Usually when I wear woolen socks, I have normal socks in between. And these socks I made specifically to wear during summer so that they would be right against my skin, and then I tried to wear a pair of my vanilla socks and I did not like it. So I'm planning on giving away my vanilla socks, but I haven't quite decided who's gonna get them, I guess. Probably my mom, because she's the only one that has close to my size in socks. Though I don't know if she likes them either. I don't know. But if she wants them, she can have them. But I gotta finish this pair and give them away too, because I am not very motivated to finish them when I don't know I'm not gonna use them. So yeah. And these ones are knit out of Anita Strikketante in the colorway orange. The yarn is lovely. There's nothing wrong with the yarn. It's just me that don't like vanilla socks for some reason. Who knows why. So yeah, I gotta have to find a different use for all of my sock yarn, which is why I haven't bought any new sock yarn in a while. What I'm planning on doing is probably starting to knit up some marled t-shirts, or perhaps do some fading from one color to a different one. If I hold the yarn double, it's easier to get a nice fade. Yeah, I have some ideas. Haven't quite figured the details out yet, but I don't have to either. There's no rush. Okay, I think that's all of my small projects. So then I only have big projects left. Okay, I can start with the 2 that I haven't touched at all in the past 2 weeks. This is my green cable knit sweater. I have barely started on one of the sleeves, and I stopped right before I'm gonna do the ribbing, because if I have enough yarn, I'm gonna make it longer. This is made out of Rille hand-dyed yarn in the colorway Misty Mountains. It's thick merino instead of thin, and it's a sock base, so it got some nylon in it, so it's gonna keep its shape quite well. Yeah, I haven't touched it. It's been in my knitting basket. I've barely been in my office. There's been like 2 projects that I've been dragging around with me wherever I've been. So I think as soon as I'm done with my cardigan, I'm probably gonna try and make this as a priority. The reason why I haven't started any new projects is because I'm desperately trying to get quite a few of my projects off my needles before that time. The only exception is sock knitting. I'm allowing myself to knit as many pairs of socks as I want, just because I know I'm gonna need them. I wear through my socks quite quickly. So yeah. I really do love this project. There's nothing wrong with it. I think I just got a bit cabled out. So, yeah. And I might maybe pick up for the sleeve again, because I did see a video how you could avoid some of the gapping that you usually get when you pick up under yarns. And I do think that might be a good solution. Just because I am not happy with how I picked up the sleeves. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this project at the moment. I'm gonna just lay it in my lap because I don't want it to get tangled with the other project. This one I think I just stopped knitting on because it was, they're very tiny needles and I just wasn't in the mood for that at the moment. Or rather I was working on a different project with also quite small needles. Anyway, this is my red sweater. This one is knit out of Strikkekista Potensial in the colorway Lollipop, and I really love this color. This is now just stock net, and since I already have a stock net project, this hasn't gotten any love at all. As soon as I'm done with the cardigan, this is gonna be my mindless, just knitting in the round thing. Perhaps when I'm starting on the button band on my cardigan, I'm gonna need a break from the button band, and then this will be what I'm gonna pick up. Maybe. Yeah. It is knit on 2.5mm needles, that's why it takes ages to knit. Because each round is just so many stitches. I'm very glad I got past all the increases for the arms, because it was kind of mindless, and then I got to stitch marker and I always had to like think, am I supposed to increase on this side of stitch marker or that side of stitch marker, and then sometimes I got it wrong and then I had to fix it the next row. So yeah, that was a bit annoying. Yeah, those are all of my knitting projects, but I do actually have a lot of progress on my one crochet project too. This has been a long-term project, and I did not put it away in a very gracious way. It's a color pooling blanket. I'm just gonna see if I can find the stitch marker. Because, yeah, there it is. I did for once actually spend quite a lot of time on this. So this is a very, very big project. It's almost 2 meters long. And this is the stitch marker, so I've actually crocheted quite a lot of rows in this project in the past 2 weeks. And I'm very pleased with that, because it is very, very big. And this is one of my more mindless projects, though it does occasionally require me to rip back some of the rows, because it's very important that you get the same amount of groupings every time, or else the pooling will no longer work, the color pooling. So yeah, it has been quite fun. I don't think I've added a new skin yet, but this is what I have left of the skin that was barely touched when... But no, my battery's running low. That's weird. My computer battery. Which isn't so weird, because apparently I pulled out... There we go. sorry for that. I had apparently unplugged my computer from its charger. That was silly. So it almost ran out. Jesus, it was really close too. I have only 6% available. Oh Jesus, that scared me. Anyway. Yeah, you have to be quite consistent with the amount of groupings you get. So you kind of have to like adjust your tension to get the correct number of groupings. Yeah. I found this the best way to get consistent color pooling, because if by chance you end up with way too much yarn at the end and you aren't able to adjust your tension to make it better, you could just add one extra treble crochet, or if you anyhow you do it, you always end up with too few, you can just reduce one of the groups to just 2, and you will still get like, people won't look at it that closely in my experience. So yeah, that was the easiest way to do it. I haven't had to do that a lot. There's been one skein where I had to do that constantly with the black, so the black were like always one stitch more than the rest, but I don't mind. But yeah, this is a very cool blanket. This is what's left over from the skein I had started on, and this is the size of the skein. So clearly I have been crocheting a lot. So yeah, this is Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Stripes in the colorway Neon. So yeah, this might actually be a short episode for once. I don't have any new projects to show because I'm trying very hard to hold off on casting on anything new until I'm done with at least one more project, hopefully 2. Usually I don't mind having a lot of projects, but there's at least 2 projects that haven't been touched in months, and I'm not okay with that. It means that I have way too much other more interesting projects at the moment, and I think I have too many at the moment. Not that I actually have a lot of projects, but I think based on how much capacity I have for well, not necessarily knitting time, but more like mental energy, I guess. My work has been quite I wouldn't say challenging, that's the wrong word, but I have had to learn a lot of new stuff because I started the job this January, and I'm only half a year in, and it's krävande. I don't remember that English word. It takes a bit out of me. I work hard, I concentrate a lot, and sadly I have been plagued with migraines, especially this year, which I do think is just because I started a new job, so I use my brain a lot, and therefore, yeah, it triggered migraines. I think I did a better job of putting this away this time. Maybe. Maybe not. Anyway. Those are all of my current projects, and I do have quite a lot of new projects I want to cast on. But as I said, I really do want to get a few of my projects off my needles before I do that. And most of all, I want to get rid of. I want to get done with my cardigan. I want to get done with my vanilla socks. I want to get done with this one sock and then cast on the other pair of socks I'm planning on knitting. And obviously I also want to get through my knitting basket with the red sweater and the green cable sweater. The red sweater is a long-term project. I don't blame myself for not working more on that. It is incredibly intense. So I don't have any guilt about not working on that one as much, especially since I will work on it more when I'm done with the cardigan. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say today, so short episode I guess. I just started my vacation, so hopefully I will have more time and energy to actually get through a few of my projects. Though I kind of doubt it, because there's 3 separate factions of my family, or my husband's family, who are all moving. So the next 3 weeks are probably going to be helping people move. And yeah, most people don't have as much experience moving as me and my husband, so we are very organized when it comes to moving. And we're trying very hard to help our family members that aren't used to moving to do it in a very effective and stress-free way. But moving is stressful anyway, so it doesn't matter how hard we try. But yeah, I do think that's all I have to say today, so thank you all for watching this episode. I hope you liked it, and if you did, I would appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't already. So yeah, see you later. Bye.